Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. Oh, my goodness, it's here. We have some non-news.
Non-news.
Non-news
We're going to start with non-news from the TROPICANA.
From the Trop, yeah.
The Trop made a big announcement that they don't know what they're going to do.
So nothing's happening.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
It just is disappearing.
Yeah, it's worth, you know what, it's worth bringing up because people always ask us, they're going, well, what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
And we go, well, they're going to build another casino. Oh, really? Are they going to, like, win? And, like, around the baseball park, blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows because they don't know. And they just, made an announcement saying there's no urgency in coming up with plans. So, actually the focus is on the demolition now. Or they've gone ahead and said it's going to be an implosion of the towers.
That's right.
They're literally going to drop them all at once as opposed to, tearing them down with machines and things like that. But they don't know what they're going to do. Right now, the focus is on building the baseball park. And then after that, they'll figure out what they're going to do with the casino.
It's very exciting that it's coming, but, obviously no news.
Kind of is, but I mean, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
Terrific. And it's not going to happen until 2028.
Yeah.
So it's right now, it's just wait for the traffic jams. We've talked about that before. But so, no news from the Tropicana.
All right, and this also may be considered more no news, but let's talk about it. It's the LVXP project. What's happening?
Well, there's an announcement. They made an announcement this week.
Yeah.
That this group called LVXP, which is a real estate company in Vegas, is going to build, quote, experiential mixed-use development, making it the city's tallest resort, 2,500 rooms, and a state-of-the-art NBA-ready arena.
Okay, wow.
Does that sound familiar?
It does. It also sounds like a huge undertaking.
Well, let me tell you a little bit more. They want to build it on 27 acres on the former site of Wet and Wild Water Park.
Okay.
All right. This is the same plan that we've been hearing about for a decade.
Okay.
From a group that was going to build something called the All-Net Arena. And we've talked about that here. That, they keep going away and then they keep coming back like boomerangs, And a lot of the commenters would then say it's never going to happen.
Right.
And we would report on it because there was news. And now you've got a whole different group coming in saying they're going to do the same thing, which is build another stadium. So we just talked about the baseball stadium.
Right.
Right? We've got a hockey stadium and we've got a football stadium.
Right.
And now they're talking about a basketball stadium where Wet and Wild used to be on the north end of the Strip.
That's going to be wild. Maybe not so wet.
Maybe not wet. If it's going to happen. But, everyone's like going, yeah, sure. And, to that point, the CEO of this LVXP group says, quote, we're the antithesis of the previous project.
Okay.
Meaning we are not them.
Right.
We are going to do it. We have the funding. We have the plan. And so at least the good news is they're not building it like at oil, right next to the baseball. So we have all four of them in the same place. They're talking about doing it on the other side of the Strip, which is good.
That would be great. Well, the other thing is that even in the event that they had the money, in the event that they were to do it, starting tomorrow, like it would still take many years to complete this project.
Oh,
right?
yeah. This would be a long ways away. And again, even you said at the outset, maybe more no news.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Now, this one I'm really excited about. The summer is upon us. We are in May. This is when the pools open up. And I believe LVA does some extensive pool party research.
We did.
What's happening?
We do it every year. Same thing like we do with room rates and everything else. In May or at the end of April, we call around and see what everybody's doing. This year's a little bit different because we've got two new ones.
Okay.
We've got the LIV complex at Fontainebleau, which is, I've seen pictures of it. It's absolutely stunning. And then you've got the Durango pool, right way up on the west side of town. We called around and probably found about 20 or 30 different places where, it's open to the public is the way they phrase it. That doesn't mean it's free.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you can just walk in and hang out there. But you can buy cabanas. You can do, they have other sort of programs where you can go in and pay to go to their pools.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, some people like to do that from time to time. You go to the Palms sometimes. The Palms has some sort of promotions saying locals can get in free or whatever. But for the most part, the pool that's at the place where you're staying is going to be free to you. If you want to go somewhere else, you're probably going to have to pay to do that.
Yes, but it is pool season, and what else is there to look forward to?
Well, we did all the, we checked the other stuff. The other interesting thing is like a decade ago, they used to call them toptional pools, which was, the topless pools in Vegas. In 2015, which is just, a little under 10 years ago, there were 12 topless pools in Vegas. And now there are only 4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Only 4. I mean, that's a fad that came and is fizzling, right? Those 4 are the Lexi. All right, the Lexi is formerly the Artisan. The Lexi is the weed hotel.
That's right. That's the one where weed is allowed in the hotel.
And they've got a pool. They call it Naked Pool, appropriately.
Hey, cool.
Mandalay Bay has Maria Beach.
Okay.
The Venetian has Tau.
Okay.
And the Wynn has the European pool.
All right. So now you know.
Yeah, these are topless, top optional.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like if you want to do that and you want to take your tops off, and we're talking about the women here.
Yeah.
Right? You can do it. What's interesting about this is Sapphire, which in the past has been the big topless pool place because it's Sapphires is a topless club.
Right.
They didn't open their pool this year.
Yeah, that's kind of big news in the pool party Vegas
scene. It was
scene,
a big deal for them. They spent all this money and they built it out, and they were having parties there every year. They did not. It is currently not open. We tried to get to the bottom of it and couldn't, and nobody there seemed to have any inkling of when it would or if it will.
Yeah. Well, we always say nice things about Sapphire on the show, and it's the biggest strip club in town.
It's a good strip club if you like strip clubs.
Yeah.
It's expensive and all, but. And then when the other thing was BLACKJACK by the pool, and that's kind of holding steady. There were 6 places where you can play live at the pool poolside.
Now I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Now this is not in the pool, like the Tropicana was famous for, and some other places. Hard Rock had done it. This is next to the pool.
This is outdoor gambling in the pool area.
Now here, you can get in for free. You just tell them that you're going to gamble, and by statute, by law in Nevada, they have to let you in. They cannot charge you a fee to go into a place where there's live gambling.
Okay, so this is a good LVA tip.
Yeah, this is a trick for getting into these pools. Now, I don't know if they'd go for it if you went and played a few hands and then whipped off your clothes and put your swimsuit on and ran and jumped in the pool. I don't know how that's going to work. But these are the places: Caesar's Palace, Circa, Encore, Flamingo, Golden Nugget, and Red Rock.
Oh, well, that sounds really fun. Okay. Do you know at Circa if this is outside at the Circa Sports?
Yeah, Circa Swim.
Circa Swim. That's what I mean, Stadium
it's
Swim.
Outside. These are, Stadium Swim. We both got it wrong. It's outside.
Yeah.
Where they've got tables there. And they'll deal out there until it gets super windy and they can't.
Okay.
But for the most part, those tables will be live during the summer.
I'd like to check that out because I went to Stadium Swim, I believe, right when it opened a few years ago, and it was just lovely.
Well, here's something too, though. If you try that move, a lot of the people that work there sometimes don't know it, and you've got to say you better go get a manager because. You can report this to Gaming Control. They cannot charge you. Same thing with a strip club. If a strip club has live gaming, like video poker, they can't charge you a fee to go in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've had many arguments at the door where I said, I want to go in. I want to go check it for whatever reason, right? And I said, I'm going in to gamble. And they'd have to go get a manager and whatever. I've done this also with UFC events. When a bar is showing UFC, and I tell them, they're like, there's a cover charge coming to the bar. I go, no, I'm going to play video poker. And often they have to call a manager, call you over and bring the manager over, and the manager goes, yeah, that's correct.
More tips and tricks from LVA. That's actually really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true.
And this week's question of the week is a blackjack question. He says, I like the last seat in blackjack. Is that the wrong seat? I feel like I have an advantage seeing all of the 10s and aces out on a double-deck game.
Okay, yeah. So this came from the comments.
Okay.
And we didn't put the name down, but this came from the comment section. He's asking, like, am I wrong about this? I think I've got an advantage here. He is wrong about that.
Okay.
All right. Now he specifies it's a double deck. If you're playing a double deck game or a shoe game, especially, he's saying I'll see more cards before I have to make my play.
That's correct.
So if I see a bunch of little cards come out, I'll figure there's more big ones in there, a bunch of big cards. You don't see enough cards. With a double deck, there's too many cards in there. And I'll talk about how that can work in a minute. So that's not really a strategy. It might make you think you have more control, but it really doesn't make a difference. Now, a single deck, that actually can be a strategy. If you're playing a single deck, especially if they're dealing, 2 or 3 rounds, and you get to that last round, well, you can see a lot of cards if you're counting. And some people will try to make these decisions just guessing, but a card counter can really get a lot of additional information on a single deck. But it doesn't work. That strategy just doesn't come into play with two decks or more.
Okay.
All right. Now, another reason you might want to sit on third base. All right. So one would be a card counter where they're getting deep penetration. He'll see as many cards as he can before making his play. The other would be if you're hole carding.
Oh,
Now,
right. Okay.
By hole carding is when the dealer is dealing and they put the bottom card under, and you can see it. You can often see that from third base. So if you can picture this, right, if I'm the dealer, right, and third base is here, when I deal around, I put my up card, and now I load, they call it front loading. I put the other card underneath from here. Sometimes you can see it.
Okay.
All right, so that's a reason. Now, for people, that's what experts and pros do, for either their counting or their hole carding. For the average person, I would actually say it's the worst seat to sit in.
Really? Okay.
And the reason being is that a lot of people like to call that guy playing in that seat or woman the anchor man.
Okay.
They think that player controls the table. They think that player controls the wins and losses. They think that player has power over what's going to happen to the dealer. So if that player makes a bad play and takes a dealer's buzz card, that player will get a lot of aggravation and consternation and bullying on a table.
A little bad energy thrown your way, like you made the wrong decision.
Yeah, it's your fault that we all lost.
Yeah.
And especially if you're a beginner, you don't want that.
You don't want extra pressure.
Right? So
where would be the best place to sit?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. It really doesn't matter where you sit. In a blackjack tournament, it matters a lot.
Okay.
In a regular, table game that you're playing, it doesn't matter where you sit. Wherever you feel good. I would only say that in most cases, unless you are a really good player and could care less what people say to you, don't sit on third base.
Okay. So you heard it here. You might be wondering, well, why does it matter in a blackjack tournament? This is something we've talked about before on shows.
Yeah, well, that's just, it matters where you are, where you're going to bet first or second, third on the end. You want to bet last there if you can.
That's right.
But in regular, what we're talking about here, it doesn't matter a single bit.
And this week's Jackpot of the Week, it comes to us from John A. He says, here's my greatest jackpot ever. I was comped at the Atlantis Paradise Island by my Chicagoland's casino. I was checked out and ready to catch a cab to the airport, but I decided to take one more shot at my favorite game, Ultimate X Bonus Streak. I know the feeling. I normally play nickels or dimes, but occasionally quarters like this time, and I was glad I did. Side note, in Vegas, I stay at Virgin. I believe I got the Mohegan Sun offer by mailer because in 2022, when I went and played my LVA coupon, I found out they had a tier matching program, and I got the offer. So nice shout out to LVA. But check it out. Look what he got.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, we'll address that second part. That's kind of interesting. But all right, so what do you win? $1,839 on this one play.
Nice hit.
Right? He's playing bonus streak, as he said.
He gone streaking, baby.
I've never played that game. I've played plenty of Ultimate X. I've never played bonus streak. You have.
I have, yeah.
And you love it.
I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I like regular Ultimate X better, and the reason is because on bonus streak you can get stuck. If you get a full house, you get a whole bunch of multipliers, and now you have to play down, those next 5 hands. If you're somebody like me and you can't leave a multiplier left behind.
Yeah, and you keep going and going. In regular Ultimate X, you don't have to play the max coin.
It's just
but
the next
in
hand.
this one, I took a look at the rules beforehand, and it looks like you cannot get those multipliers if you're not playing max coin.
Right.
So you could get stuck there for sure. I did do a little bit of research on this, even though I haven't played it. There's 2 different pay tables for a 10 times triple double bonus game, which is what he was playing. Those pay tables, let's see, what are they? They're 98.91% and 97.45%. So the best he could have been playing here was a pretty good game, 98.91. Likely he was at the 97.5 area. We can't tell from what he sent in. The play on this, from what I understand, is, and you can see by reading about it, is difficult because there's so many things to think about. You got to think about your hand, of course, but you also got to think about how much you've got left to play in the streak and what the current multiplier is. All these things would have to be put into into a hat and come out with an equation on it to get the best play. So, my advice on how to play this would be just play your normal, the normal style that you're supposed to play on regular video poker with possibly some intuitive, departures, thrown in as you're playing. You see something and go, wow, that just can't be right. I'm going to do something different.
Okay.
Sort of thing. We're talking about the possibility of publishing a book on Ultimate X.
It's a great idea.
We've got a great manuscript.
Yeah.
And there is Ultimate X information in Michael Shackelford's Gambling 102, but we're talking about an entire book on Ultimate X, which would also cover this game.
Okay. Well, that would be definitely a book to get, especially because you said it kind of fast, but in the regular Ultimate X, you can actually play down those multipliers at half price.
And escape.
And escape, yes.
Right, get away, because then you play the multipliers off, but you can't earn multipliers if you're not playing max coin of 10.
Right.
And this is a 10-coin game also. To the second part of that, about going to Virgin and Mohegan, this was a couple years ago. He said 2022. And we don't have that coupon anymore. It was the weakest coupon in the book. It wasn't good. When they didn't want to do it again, I was like, good. It wasn't a good one. But this is like another benefit of playing these things in the casinos. You go and you go to a place you wouldn't normally have gone to play a coupon. You still had an edge, but it was a small edge in that one that we had put together. And you learned something. And all of a sudden, he becomes a customer here because they treat him well. So, that's another thing. You play these coupons, go get your advantage, and ask around. And, you might find a place that you really like.
Well, the coupons are fun, and they're supposed to be. All right, and I wanted to give a quick shout-out to the Bucks Tavern, to Kim Kelsey and the whole crew over there. It's a lot of fun, and if you're a Vegas local on Wednesday nights, every Wednesday of the week at 8 o'clock, they do a free comedy show.
Where is that, Andrew?
Bucks Tavern is on Nellis. I'll put the address up in the description box. But they also, if they've never been, they get some free play. They get a sign-up bonus.
Cool.
It's a great bar. They do karaoke. The burgers are fantastic.
Oh, I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah.
I'm, you know what? I may have gone to Bucks years and years ago, but it's out there. It's out a ways on the east side, right? Northeast side.
Yeah, it's on the outskirts of town. That's what I'm saying. If you're out that way, Bucks is a 24-hour place, and it's a great place to go and gamble and drink.
Who's Kim, the owner or the bartender?
Yeah, Kim is the owner.
Cool.
And she's always there.
Good.
And it's a whole family vibe at Bucks.
I'm gonna go see one on Wednesday.
All right. And that's it for this week. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Anything to add, Anthony?
Actually, yeah. I'm going to add one thing.
Okay.
I did another YouTube video with Colin Jones from Blackjack Apprenticeship. And, we're pretty happy when we get 20,000. Well, in 5 days, he had over 50,000 on this video.
Well, Colin's got a great channel, Colin Jones.
Yeah, and his site, Blackjack Apprenticeship, is terrific. But they really get good visitation or good viewership on their YouTube. And I'm going to suggest that people go look for this.
Yeah.
And just go to YouTube Blackjack Apprenticeship, and you'll just see my face up there. For that one, we talk a little bit more about 60 Minutes, and we talk a lot about blackjack. There was a bunch of really cool blackjack stories that he asked me about that I was able to tell there. So go give it a look.
Well, also Colin Jones has a book that you published.
Yeah, his book 21st Century Card Counter is #1 selling blackjack book on Amazon.
You heard it here. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week.
To